Tell me you're an awful person without telling me you're an awful person. Today we're back looking at r/I'm at a-hole and we're going to be doing a whole lot of judging. I'm at a-hole because I, 38 female, don't want to take my stepson 9 on vacation. My husband 39 and I have been married for 5 years. We have 2 children of our own, both girls aged 5 and 2. I also have a son 10 from a previous marriage, but I was widowed. My husband's ex is barely involved in his stepson's life at all. They got divorced when the stepson was 2 and his ex wanted a fresh start. So my husband did the decent selfless thing and had complete custody of their son, even though he wanted shared custody. I got a bonus at work and I really want to go on vacation with just my family just once. Okay, whenever you say just my family, do you mean your children? Funny enough, if you do take care of a stepson, he also is part of your family. We've been on family vacations all together lots of time, but just once I want to spend my money going on vacation where I'm not looking after someone else's kid. I want stepson to stay with his mum while we go on vacation. So basically you want to isolate your stepson from your family. This is bad parenting. My husband sees my point of view and is okay with it. I don't think I'm being at all unreasonable. So your husband, who is the father of that child, also sees your point. So he thinks it's okay for his son to be isolated from the rest of his family. Yeah, you're a bit of an a-hole, sweetheart. My mum found out what I was planning and says I'm being a complete a-hole. These are the reasons she says I could be an a-hole. My mum says that if stepson's mum isn't properly involved in his life, I should be even more involved in his life to compensate. I think this is a completely unfair expectation. Funny enough, if you're getting married to somebody and they've got full custody of that child, you also have to take care of that child. She also says I'm being a hypocrite taking my son, but I think that's totally different because my son doesn't have another parent. I'm all he's got. If stepson's mum won't take him just for once, and obviously he'll come on vacation with us, but I don't think I'm the a-hole to ask if I can have a vacation with my own family just one time. It's not like I hate stepson or something. He's a nice kid, he's just not mine. Am I the a-hole? Yes, you absolutely are. By the way, your stepson's eventually gonna find out. He's gonna realize his family's on holiday without him. You're a horrible human. Your husband's son is your family. You better not ever let that kid hear you say otherwise, Jesus Christ. Homie, that ship effing sailed when you married a man with a child. Exactly that's what I was thinking. If you're gonna marry somebody who also has a child, you have to also take care of that child. That's the whole point of it. Wanting a vacation with your family is fine. Deciding that your stepson doesn't count as family is effed up beyond belief and definitely makes you an a-hole. You're the a-hole. Yeah, so I'm with that Redditor. That person's absolutely awful. I actually feel really bad for that stepson. This woman's basically saying that because she didn't give birth to the child, it's not her child. You're his stepmother and he probably hates you as well. I'm an a-hole for telling my son he and his fiance is spoiled. I'll try to keep this short. My 23-year-old son is engaged to Peggy, 22 female. They have been engaged for 5 months or so. Our culture dictates that Penny's father and I share the cost of their wedding. He, her father, said we should provide $10,000 each, a total of a $20,000 budget. I could afford this for sure, but it seems insane and extravagant to me. I said I would give $5,000 and he could give whatever he wanted. Peggy's father also put up $5,000. I told my son this and he told me outright it wasn't going to be enough. He said I don't mind. I figured that me and Peggy would have to pay for some of the wedding. I asked what he meant. He said no way would they be able to do their wedding in under $10,000. I said my own wedding after haggling and deals only came out to around $7,000. So I do not think this is an issue. He argued against me and said my wedding was 40 years ago and prices were different. I mean, that is true. 40 years ago you could literally get a Freddo Frog chocolate bar for like 2p. Now they're literally 60p. He outlined some prices and said the cheapest venue he could find was $5,000 and food alone was going to be $2.5,000. He again said he didn't mind and he thanked me for giving them money for the wedding, but I honestly felt hurt that he thought he was not given enough. I said how could food come out to $2,500 and he said that was only around $25 per person. I suggested ordering pizza or sub sandwiches, but he looked at me like I was crazy. I said okay, well we can just offer less for the photographer and decorator, and he said that isn't how things are done. I said it is how things are done, and maybe if Peggy and him weren't being spoiled and expecting the best of the best for everything, then $10,000 would be plenty. I don't know if it's just me, but I've got a feeling the mum might be misunderstanding what the son's saying. After I said this, he just closed his eyes and thanked me for the money and basically told me to get out. I was complaining about this incident to my wife and she told me I was being a stick in the mud and it's his only wedding. My friends agree with me though. Am I the a-hole? Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I do believe this is a bit of a misunderstanding. He's basically telling you that he appreciates the amount of money you're giving him, however it's not enough, and your reply was like, oh well, just don't pay the photographer, it's mad. That's not really how it works. Yes, you're the a-hole. He thanked you for the money and is planning and paying for the rest. How they spend their money isn't your business. Can you seriously not envision that prices have increased over several decades? Okay, so that Redditor saying that you are a big a-hole. I don't think you're a massive one. I think you've just had a bit of a misunderstanding. How long ago was 40 years ago? 1980? I mean, he's not getting married in 1980. You know, things are a lot more expensive, so are you an a-hole? A tiny bit, but you're not like a massive one. I'm an a-hole for not giving my girlfriend, 25 female, my dinner after I had already bought her dinner. My girlfriend, 25, and I, 29 male, live in New York City, and there's a popular app where you buy leftover restaurant food. Restaurants advertise surprise bags at a reduced price in order to reduce food waste. I know something, that app actually sounds really good. I've seen so many videos where people have went out the back of restaurants, whether it's like a bakery or like a big 5-star restaurant, and the amount of food they fry every night is shocking. They could literally feed the homeless, but nah, they just throw it in the bin. The customer doesn't know what they're getting until they pick up the food, but the cost is at least 3 times lower than the normal menu price. E.g., if an entry is usually $24, the restaurant is allowed to charge $8 at most for it. These are hit or miss. Sometimes you get exactly what you want at a greatly reduced price, but sometimes you get something that you otherwise wouldn't have picked from the menu. To me, it kind of sounds like the lottery, like you're either gonna win really big or you're just gonna completely fail. I ordered a surprise bag from a barbecue place that I was picking up on the way home yesterday. I texted my girlfriend asking if she wanted one, but she said no. She wasn't in the mood for barbecue. However, there was an Indian restaurant right next door that also had surprise bags available on the app, so she ordered one of them. The barbecue was $12 and the Indian was $10. Oh my god, that is actually quite cheap. You're basically feeding yourself for $10. And it's Indian and barbecue. That seems like a win-win to me. When I get home, I unpacked the meals to see what we got. I was happy about my bag. Since I paid $12, I knew the value had to be at least $36. But honestly, the platter looked a lot more expensive. This was a hit. Keep in mind that we live in the West Village, which is the most expensive neighborhood in the most expensive city in the US. So $36 for one meal is pretty typical. By the sounds of it, you're literally living in paradise. You're living in a nice area, and then you've got this app, so you're gonna get good food for a good price. There were burnt eggs, ribs, pulled pork, baked beans, potato salad, bread, onions, and pickles. My girlfriend, however, was less lucky. Her surprise bag only had 6 different types of soup, half of them being variations of cauliflower soup. Cauliflower soup? That seems awful. I don't really eat Indian food, but is cauliflower soup a real thing? I swear cauliflower literally tastes of nothing. She was disappointed to say the least. She asked if we could share my barbecue. I said no, I'm hungry. I offered to buy you some already and you said no, so I'm going to devour it. She got mad and called me an a-hole. I told her she didn't want soup. She should have ordered something specifically instead of using the surprise bag app. I then told her to just order something off a food delivery app. She said she didn't want to spend the money. Another bit of the context is I make a lot more money than her and pay all our rent. I know she's running a bit of a lean financial picture right now. I then tell her if she doesn't want to pay for delivery, I'll walk to the book good. I won't lie, I don't know what that is. It's probably some restaurant. I'm so bad at pronouncing words, apologies. On our street and can buy her something there. Another bit of context is that we live on the 4th floor walk up with no elevator, and she broke her leg in a car incident a month ago, so it can be tough for her to get around. Oh my god, this poor girl feels like she's been put through bloody hell. She's living really high up in the building. She's got a broken leg. She says the grill is probably off there and all she wants is hot meat. I tell her she has soup. Anyway, she thinks I'm the a-hole, but here's my defense. Number 1, I offered to buy her barbecue to begin with, which she declined. Number 2, she picked out her own food and I grabbed it for her on the way home. Number 3, she wasn't satisfied. I suggested 2 solutions, either ordering something from an app or going to the bug digger. Yet again, I can't pronounce that word, apologies. I'm so embarrassed right now. So Reddit, I'm an a-hole. Look, I'm gonna be completely honest. No. Could you share it? Probably, but like at the end of the day, do I think you're a massive a-hole? No. Okay, so I didn't think you were an a-hole, but apparently Reddit thinks otherwise. You're the a-hole, come on man. You both did the surprise bags. Hers didn't work out. You know she can't afford to order something else, but didn't offer to help her pay. You offered her crappy bodgia food instead. Yet again, I don't know what that is, apologies. You could have at least split the barbecue and ordered something else to share and split the price. If the situations were reversed and you got in a bunch of crap soup while she had a feast, would you really want to sit there hungry waiting for some crappy alternative while she chowed down? I'm starting to see what these people are getting at. You're gonna get lots of not the a-holes that have just no concept of being nice and making small sacrifices for your partner. You and them seem like the types who, if their meal companion gets the wrong meal at a restaurant and has to wait half an hour for a new one, they'll sit there and eat a lot and not even offer a fry. Edit to add, for God's sake guys, I lived in New York City for a decade. I know bodgia have good food. Yet again, I don't know how to pronounce that word. The grill was closer. Options would have been maybe a deli sandwich if they were still making them, but it could very well just have been like chips and cookies. She wanted a real dinner. Okay, so that person saying that he is the a-hole, do I think you're a massive one? No. However, to understand where they're coming from, yes of course. I'm an a-hole for calling my stepsister the ugly stepsister because she freaked out over a nickname. My family jokingly refers to me as princess / the princess because I have a reputation for being opinionated and sensitive. Okay, so we're literally 2 sentences in and I already do think you're an a-hole. This is mostly because of the sensory issue, so certain noises or textures grate me to an extent that I will leave the room or avoid touching things. I'm also just a picky person. I like things how I like them. So my stepdad started referring to me as the princess. Like, don't open the car window, the princess will get upset. My stepbrothers and mum use it as well. It's a running family joke. I've never been offended by it in the 15 years it's been a thing. My stepsister Georgia hates it. She used to snap whenever anyone said it, but over the years she just started making the odd passive aggressive comment about it. Everyone ignores it because Georgia has a habit of thinking everything is about her, and if it's not about her, the reason it's not about her is because we all hate her, which then is still about her. So our family is visiting my parents in the countryside for a couple of weeks. Georgia has brought her boyfriend Jason along. I've met Jason a couple of times before at dinners and he's a nice guy and he fits in well. This morning my mum and I were making breakfast and Jason came down to help out. We normally have breakfast in the kitchen / diner, so eventually everyone started gathering at the table. We always make the tea and coffee last so it's hot when we eat, and we all had the mugs out and Jason offered to make the drink. I told him not to do mine time because I liked it made a very particular way. And he said, okay, princess, I will just watch how you do it so I know for next time. And we laughed. It was a joke. The next thing we knew, Georgia shouted she's sick of everyone calling me. She then swore at Jason for being just like them. She said, since everyone thinks I'm so special, what does that make her? And I replied, the ugly stepsister, obviously. No one said anything, but Georgia burst into tears, pushed her plate into the floor, broke it, and went upstairs, and Jason ran after her. He since came down to apologize for her. She hasn't came out of her room. The stepbrothers are on my side. Parents said I should have just not said anything, and she would have calmed down, and I went too far picking at an insecurity. That might be true, but I'm sick of her making everything about her. I mean, is this not all about you, though? The joke doesn't have anything to do with her, and I am, as are my stepbrothers, sick of her acting out to force everyone to behave how she wants them to. I'm an a-hole for taking the argument there. Yeah, I'm gonna say you are. By the sounds of it, you like the attention on you, and whenever it's not on you, you have an issue with it. What you said very likely reflects how she sees herself in this dynamic. You paint her self-centered, but I bet she's felt sub-orientated to you her whole life, and is trying to claw back some of the attention for herself. As princess, your particular needs and wants probably greaten the people around you to some extent. They've probably spent their lives catering to your picky personality, and under that family-friendly joke lies a bit of resentment. To be blunt, you are the center of attention and you have become accustomed to it. The way to fix this is to apologize to your sister, try and have a dialogue with her about this, and try to be a bit less particular in your own wants when it puts an extra burden on those around you. Your comfort is not more important than those around you. You're the a-hole. What I was getting from that is that person seems insufferable to be around. I also wonder how the family feel. Do you reckon they put up with it just because they don't want to anger her? I mean, imagine getting her angry. Well, anyways, guys, that's where I leave that video there. That was some people who told us that they were awful people without telling us they were awful people. If you want to see me look at more I'm an a-hole posts, let me know, definitely will. Press the bigger subscribe button and see you all tomorrow for another video.